Data analytics is changing fast. I spent the last month talking to hiring managers, analyzing job postings, and seeing what's actually happening in the data analytics industry. And what I found will shock you. The data analysts who understand these new data trends are landing raises of $30,000 and more in their jobs. And trust me, I did too. And the ones who don't are struggling to even get interviews. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what's coming in 2026 and how you can use these new trends on how to break through this saturated job market. The first new trend you need to know about is AI-driven analytics. I know, AI is everywhere right now. You cannot escape AI. But this new trend isn't just about knowing AI, it's knowing how to use AI to leverage your data analytics skills and ultimately become a faster, more efficient, and more accurate and more powerful data analyst. And that's what AI-driven analytics is all about. I need you to lock in right here. The dashboard analyst is dead. Do you remember in like 2018, even 2020 still, people would make a few little Tableau dashboards, drag and drop, boom, and land six-figure roles? Those days are over because people aren't hiring data analysts just to build dashboards anymore. Businesses need more. They need deeper insights. They need analysts who can actually code and really wrangle data and transform data, not just drag and drop some basic dashboards. And a big reason why this work is being replaced is because of AI, because now non-technical and even some technical stakeholders as well are able to build their own quick visualizations with the help of AI. And data analysts who are also in charge of building visualizations can also do it way more quickly with the help of AI, so we don't really need entire analysts just building visualizations and dashboards anymore. But the key of AI-driven analytics is knowing how and when to actually use AI. You have to be really careful when using AI because if you don't actually know what you're doing and you're not paying attention, you can copy and paste the wrong code, you can compromise personal data like social security numbers. There are so many things that go wrong. So ultimately, you need to know how and when to use AI, and it has to help you work more efficiently and get more accurate results. I'll be honest, when ChatGPT first came out, I was like, what is it? I don't really understand. I don't really know how to use it. And I was just hearing all these buzzwords and all this hype around it. And I was like, how am I supposed to use this as a data analyst? And then one day my coworker had this ticket where he had to build a bunch of custom visualizations for something. And it was only a ticket that took like a couple of days or something. And he had this giant Python script filled with like hundreds, maybe thousands, tons of lines of code building all these custom visualizations that were like hyper customized. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so smart. He's so good at Python. I was truly impressed. And then later on, I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure he just used AI, which like, no hate, you can still be insanely smart and good at your job and still use AI. But he was able to crank out a file that big in only a couple of days because he was able to leverage AI to customize the code that fit his needs exactly. And if you're curious about ways that you can use AI to help become a better data analyst and actually learn this new skill of AI-driven analytics, I'm about to tell you. But real quick, if you're feeling overwhelmed and not sure where to start with your data analytics career, check out my free data analytics roadmap. It's only 3 steps down in the description below. It cuts through all the noise out there and simplifies the most important things that you need to know into only 3 steps to help you land a 6-figure data analyst role. The link is in the description. Okay, back to business. Here are the 10 ways that I love to use AI to do AI-driven analytics. Number 1, refactoring and organizing my code. Number 2, translating natural language and business problems into code. Number 3, explaining confusing code step by step and telling me exactly how it works. Number 4, customizing and altering pre-existing code to meet new business requirements. Number 5, debugging code. That's a big one. Number 6, create customized visualizations. Number 7, translating code between different languages. So from SQL to Python or Python to SQL, for example. Number 8, get suggestions for QA, quality assurance, or edge cases that you need to test in your code. Number 9, create documentation for a process or a query. Number 10, convert repetitive code into functions or views. And trust me, adding AI to your resume is going to help you stand out. So definitely add ChatGPT or Claude Code or whatever language you're using to help you write code and do data analysis. A lot of people think that companies are going to judge them for that or think that they're lazy or don't know how to do their job, but I think it's all about the way that you frame it. If you only know how to write code using AI and you don't actually understand what you're doing, that's one thing. But if you're actually using it to work more quickly and do those 10 things I just went through, that's just going to make you a better data analyst. And most hiring managers are going to see that value, unless they're still stuck in the Stone Ages or 2020, should I say. A lot of people are so scared that AI is going to replace data analysts, but you shouldn't be worried about AI replacing you. You should be worried about another data analyst who's using AI to replace you, because that data analyst is going to be working more quickly, they're going to be getting faster and more accurate answers, and they're just going to be a better data analyst because they're using their resources and adapting with technology. Someone on social media recently told me that they don't like to use AI because they don't trust it, and I just like to write the code myself, and I was like, okay, I'd love to see where this person ends up in like 5 years or even 2 years. The second new data trend that you need to look out for in 2026 is analytics engineering. You've probably heard of data engineering. Data engineering is a super technical data role where you're building tons of pipelines, you're using a lot of Python and other orchestration and data modeling tools. But analytics engineering is a role that kind of sits in between data engineering and data analytics. And it's kind of a newer trend because a lot of analytics engineering roles have been popping up and it's increasing in demand. But more importantly, a lot of data analytics roles, especially as you get more senior, are now requiring analytics engineering skills. As I said before, the dashboard analyst, dead. So now companies are looking for more technical analysts that can do more of the coding and the data modeling and automating all those systems. And that's where analytics engineering comes into play. But have no fear, if you're a brand new data analyst, focus on the basics of data analytics. But if you have the time and you're really looking to stand out, or you're going for a more senior level role, absolutely spend some time learning these analytics engineering skills. It's actually crazy how much data analytics has changed even since I've been in the field, and I'm not even that old, because back in my day, I was using a lot of non-cloud databases and Excel sheets and CSVs and bringing those into reporting tools like Power BI. And now that just feels so ancient because now everything's in the cloud and so much faster, and we have AI. And a lot of these cloud tools with built-in AI are kind of shaping and redefining what data analytics looks like. Because now, instead of data analysts just working with data visualization and CSVs, now they're actually getting their hands dirty and helping build those pipelines to bring the data in and extract, transform, and load it. Companies are looking for full stack data analysts now that can handle the end-to-end process of bringing in raw, messy data and turning it into insights, and everything in between. So this includes things like working in a data warehouse and the cloud, building data models, handling data storage, so that type of stuff. The things that happen before data analysts typically get the data. And the reason why this is so cool is because data engineering and analysts are typically kind of two separate functions. So as a data analyst, it can be really frustrating when you don't have the data that you need. Maybe the data hasn't been brought in yet, maybe it's stale, maybe it has an issue, maybe you need to update some of the underlying business logic, and you can't get your hands dirty as a data analyst in that data, typically. But with analytics engineering helping bridge the gap and a lot of data analyst roles requiring these types of engineering skills, now data analysts are able to go fix their own data, create their own pipelines, edit things, edit the business logic. So it's just gonna speed things up because data analysts aren't gonna have to wait on engineers as much for small fixes. They're gonna be able to go in and do it themselves, and companies are really gonna value that. So if you wanna get started learning analytics engineering work for data analytics, I highly recommend you start with a data warehouse. You can start out with Snowflake, BigQuery, Databricks. It kind of depends on what your company uses and what you can get your hands on, but I personally just really love Snowflake a lot. It's what I'm used to, it's what I've spent the most time in, and it's pretty easy to use. And that is a great skill to put on your resume, especially compared to an old integrated development environment like SQL Server or dbeaver. That's just not going to be that sexy on your resume, at least not compared to a cloud data warehouse. The next thing I would really focus on for analytics engineering skills is dbt. dbt has been exploding on job descriptions everywhere. Every job description nowadays is asking for it. And the best part is, if you really invest in SQL and know it well, SQL is like 70 to 80% of dbt. dbt is kind of like a combo between SQL, GitHub, and documentation, and it's kind of like writing SQL but in a more engineering-y way. So another reason to really invest in your SQL skills is that all of these other tools really rely on SQL. And the reason why so many companies are leaning on dbt right now is because it makes the models and the tables reusable, so it helps streamline and automate the process of cleaning and transforming data and getting it ready for analysis. So again, it's just kind of getting data analysts involved in that layer of bringing in and reshaping data, and less time waiting on engineers. And the last skill I'd focus on learning here is Airflow. I would say this is definitely optional, especially compared to all the other things we've talked about in this video, but it actually helps you schedule and automate the process of running all of these transformations behind the scenes. So it's good to know, but I definitely focus your time more on SQL, AI, and DBT because you'll get more bang for your buck, at least in data analyst roles. If you're going for data engineering, then you definitely need to learn Airflow. Okay, the final new data analytics trend for 2026 is probably gonna hurt a lot of y'all's feelings, and I'm sorry, but I'm not actually sorry, because I tell the truth here. Certifications are losing their weight. They don't mean much anymore. Nobody cares if you have a certificate or a certification. Guess how many certifications I have? Yeah. 0, none. I don't have a single certification. And I've had 3 six-figure data analyst roles and just left my job as a senior data analyst, making $153,000. But disclaimer, I do have a master's degree. I don't want to mislead anybody, but I don't think that had a massive, massive impact on my career. Only helped me break in faster in the beginning. So do you remember back in 2020 when data analytics was booming? It was super in demand. It was the sexy work from home job, 6 figures. Everybody wanted to go into it. And all the TikTok influencers were selling you, buy my course, you can break into data and get an easy work from home job for 6 figures. If you just buy my course, here, give me your credit card. Yeah, so a lot of people did that for many years. A lot of people went to break into data analytics and the market got completely oversaturated with entry-level data analysts. And now sprinkle in a bad economy, hiring slowing down, and AI replacing some of those really simple, basic entry-level roles that just build dashboards, and it's a lot harder to break into data analytics. And that's not to say that it's impossible. It's absolutely possible. People are still doing it all the time. Many of my SQL students are getting 6-figure jobs with $25,000, $30,000 salary increases. So it's definitely possible. It's just not as easy and given as it was in 2020. So truly, if you are obsessing over getting a certificate or a certification, please stop. And I'm not gonna name any specific ones. I'm not gonna call any out, but do not obsess over it. Employers do not care if you have a certificate or a certification. And looking at some of these certifications, I'm honestly a little shocked by the curriculum at times because they still have people learning R. And I'm like, okay, R is good in an academia, statistics setting, but for industry data analysis, people need to be learning SQL #1 and maybe Python, optional. But R, data jobs are not using R in industry. Okay, fine, some data jobs are using R, but not that many. So don't think that just because you have a certification, you're automatically gonna get a job because a lot of them are outdated on their skills, they're always behind what industry is doing, and at the end of the day, employers just don't care about that. But what they do care about are actual skills. And yes, experience is important too, but skills are definitely the most important. And how do you show off your skills? Through projects and a portfolio. So please invest time building really good projects and making a super good portfolio because that's gonna show employers that you actually know what you're doing. It's gonna show them what skills you have, and it's gonna help you stand out amongst people who are only relying on a certification to get a job. So yeah, certifications have honestly been going down in importance for the past couple of years or so, but I think in 2026, they're gonna be pretty much completely worthless. I think the actual certification and completion will be worthless, but the skills you learn won't be, assuming you actually learn the right skills that are in line with what the industry is looking for. It literally kills me because people will message me and they'll be like, I'm so interested in your SQL course, but do I get a certificate at the end? And I'm like, why do you even care? Nobody cares about your certificate. People are so obsessed with certificates, and I'm like, yeah, you do get a certificate, but I promise that's not gonna help you, and employers don't care about that. What hiring managers actually care about are the projects and the portfolio you build in my course, but people just focus on certificates, and it drives me crazy. Look, I've been doing data analysis long enough to kind of see when trends come and go, and I always know when change is coming. And honestly, the people who change and adapt to the trends early are the people who absolutely crush it, and that's exactly what I want for you. My 3-step data analytics roadmap breaks it all down for you in 3 easy steps. It's in the description below, so go grab it. Now, if you're ready to get super tactical on the exact skills to focus on, I just went through 4,967 real job postings to narrow it down to the top 5 entry-level skills that companies are looking for. Actually, begging for. You need to see this breakdown because I promise it's not the 5 skills that you're expecting. So click here. Sending lots of big data energy to you. Bye.